Okay, so today, guys, we're back with the second update video from the $1,000 10NL challenge. If you don't already know what's going on, I'm trying to win $1,000 all at 10NL, and all of the hands have to be streamed or recorded. If you didn't catch the first update video, I'll leave a link up here for you. You can see the results from the first 25,000 hands of the challenge, and today we'll be going through the first 50,000 hands of the challenge. And if you want to catch the challenge live, you can do so by following me on Twitch. The link will be in the description below. And if you have been following the challenge, then you'll know that this is the only t-shirt that we could have worn today. I just want to say thank you to anyone that did buy a t-shirt. I cannot believe that I sold out of them. It's incredible to me. So I really appreciate everyone's support. But yes, unfortunately, we have had a torrid time in the 10NL challenge over the last 25,000 hands. We're going to get into the graph in just a second and go into it in a bit more detail. But I honestly cannot remember running this bad in poker before. I don't know if it's recency bias, but what I've had to play through recently has definitely been an experience. Again, guys, no red line today. Loads of people that play in the pool also watch the stream, and I want to keep as much to myself as possible, especially now that the results aren't as good as they were last time. And what we're going to do again, like we did last time, guys, is we're going to play one table of 10NL in the challenge after we've looked at the results on the graph. And if you're enjoying these updates from the 10NL challenge, then please do drop a like on the video. It really helps me out. But for now, let's go and take a look at the updated results for the challenge. Okay, guys, this is the updated graph for the 10NL challenge. We have played 52,798 hands, and we've won $48 fucking dollars and 28 fucking cents. Our all-in adjusted EV is $180 and 42 cents, and our big blind win rate is 0.91. So, what the fuck happened? Where were we last time? Let's have a look. So we played about 25k hands last time, and I believe we were up about this much, 130 something. I think we might have been around here. I think this might have been it here. And we were about 3 binds below V, and I was talking about how I was looking forward to making those back up in the near future. And that is just not how it went, guys. That is just not how it went. We had as soon as I released that video, we got smashed. We got smashed, and I can't. Well, to be honest with you, because the recent history has been so devastating, I can't actually remember what happened here. But I remember being very unlucky, but not like you see. We're only 1 buy and below EV at this point, like after 28k hands, and then we had a horrible session, several horrible sessions, and then we hit this point here, and I was so unhappy. You can imagine, like going down 10 buy-ins immediately in like. What is this, like not even 10k hands? Obviously it can happen. It's unavoidable. It can definitely happen, but it's just unfortunate that it did. After I said I was looking forward to making back that EV. So then we were, this was actually pretty sick, clearly, because we lost about 7 buy-ins in EV here. Well, 6 buy-ins from this point, which in like 4k hands or something, which is obscene. We went on an absolute tear after that, honestly. And we reached a peak of $165, and yeah, we had like 5 sessions in a row where I just straight annihilated everybody. Ran okay, and we dragged the EV back to -3. So our peak, we were at -3 in EV and $165 up, and I was really pleased with that. I was thinking, right, I'm going to push on. To the amount of times that I say, all right, I'm going to push on, every single time I do that, something happens. Now this section here is what I was referring to in the intro, where I said this is the worst I've ever run in poker. And you can see it's just cataclysmically awful. And it has been, I've unraveled. I'm not going to lie. I think this is about the point where I got Mark in the booth once or twice. Well, no, once here and then another one down here. I remember this one very clearly. And I just started running like, abnormally shit. Like it was actually untrue in such a short space of time. I was losing like every hand. Doesn't matter how much equity I had, and there's some unreal hands in the top 10 hands of the week to come up. But yeah, we went from +164 to +6, and this is in the space of 12k hands. This was honestly really difficult to get a handle on. At our peak in EV, we were up $229. You can see how we actually increased in EV, even though we were losing chunks. So we were at +229 at this point in EV, and then so 11 buy-ins below EV, and then it got even worse. Like this part here was so brutal, so steep, and I just lost every hand in like the space of a week again. And I believe that there was a point, it might be here, yeah, so 14 buy-ins below EV, more than 14 buy-ins below EV, and now we are about, 13, about 13 buy-ins below EV, which is super sick considering that we were really close not that long ago to our EV. Obviously that you can drive a tank through these lines, and I'm not going to say this time that I hope we can drag it back in terms of EV. We just need to start from a 0 point. But what happened here was, guys, so we had $2 left. We had $2 left, and I messaged Ben and I said, because Ben was planning on giving me a little lesson, a coaching session at 10 and 0, just to give me, because obviously I wasn't playing badly and I was getting super unlucky. And the big blind win rate for EV is like 3.7 or something, which is absolutely fine. I'd be really happy with that because of the rake. But I basically said to him, look, I'm getting battered here, and I know I'm playing bad. I know that I'm playing okay, but not playing perfectly, and I'm also running like shit, and I need to play better, clearly, to balance this out, maybe, or at least just to make me feel better about how I'm playing, at least, because when you go through something like this, it really hurts. It hurts your mental game, and it hurts your play because you become unsure of what you're doing for the right reasons or wrong reasons. That's what happened to me. And I spoke to him, and we had a 2-hour coaching session. He gave me 2 hours of his time for no reason at all. And he just taught me about, not like in depth, but like some very general ideas about how I'm supposed to be playing. And I know it's only one session, guys, but this is one session here. And we 3-tabled from $6 back up to 48 on 4 buy-ins in that session. And it felt amazing. We ran okay. We ran 2 EV. But we also played much, much better, and everyone in the chat was saying it was playing much, much, much better. So it's definitely a mix of playing not very well, but also running really, really bad. And that mix in my mental game definitely didn't help me perform at the best of my abilities. So after all that said and done, guys, I will go through the results list as well. I think you can see this, yeah. So you can see here, so we won these 5 sessions in a row, which put us up to 165. These ones here, where we just smashed everybody, didn't even run, like you can see, pretty much all of them are on EV. And then here, just like 3 below, 1 below, 1 below, 1.5 below, what's this, 3 below, 1 below. I don't know what this one is. This is, yeah, I should have lost here, but it basically, we just every day we were getting hammered by the deck, absolutely hammered. So yeah, we're down to our 0.91 big blind win rate, but it's still early days. Only 50k hands, and there's plenty of time to claw this back. We've obviously got to win another $950, but to be honest, every time I think about that, it makes me sick. So I'm trying not to think of it like that at the moment. But yeah. We're going to continue trying to play our very best, obviously, and try not to worry about the things that we can't control as much as we have been. But this was devastating, guys. Like this really hurt. Because obviously once you get to that 165, I was like I felt like I was playing really well. I was running fine. You just want to push on. Like I said, like all the time, I just want to push on, and to lose all of it, to dust it all off, was utterly debilitating to my mental game. But hopefully now we're back on the right track. What we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to play one table again of Ted and L. We'll play for like 20 minutes max, and we're going to talk through the spots, and then maybe talk a little bit more about some other aspects of the challenge that I'm feeling at the moment. But yeah, let's go and do that now. So let's crack on with some hands for the challenge on one table. This is exactly what I did last time. People seem to enjoy it, so I'm going to do it again. And just to remind people, first of all, we won't be going for very long. Just while I talk about things that I might want to talk about that have happened over the last 25k hands. Might mean I make some mistakes because I'm not paying as much attention, which is why I'm only playing one table. But also you'll notice that my HUD is not on. That is not because the HUD doesn't work, guys. My HUD works. My HUD works perfectly fine. It's because I don't want to show the stats that I have on the pool. So what we've got running is our 888 caption for our RNG, should we need it, which I use pretty much all the time pre-flop, and when I know what the splits are, and then post-flop a tiny bit. to many people's dissatisfaction in the right situations. But the pool looks pretty good. Lots of green and purple. Those are varying degrees of fish. I don't like to give my labels out for the same reasons that my HUD is not running. So you guys, if you watch the stream, will know. I have a pretty good idea what people are tagged as and why. But I think the best thing to talk about, by the way, if we have a hand, obviously we will stop talking about whatever nonsense I'm banging on about, and we'll talk about the hand in question. So we'll see what happens with this ace 10 of spades. Obviously I'm opening it and the big blind looks pretty bad. I don't have my stats going, so it could be one of those, could be a nittier fish. There's loads of nittier 40 big blind ish stacks that play really, really tight. For example, this guy is really, really, really tight, very passive tight. But some of them get up to some weird stuff post flop. So on this board, if he checks, we'll be betting. Plenty of good turn cards to barrel. And I think that betting, especially against these kind of players, it just wins more money than checking. So I've just started betting most of the time. It's really annoying that this guy's doing this right now, but I think he's disconnected or something. So anyway, I think the best thing to do, I'm just going to see bet 1/3. I think the best thing to do is talk about how I'm dealing with this mentally, this last 25,000 hands. There's lots of factors to consider. I think the main one is the fact that I'm doing this on stream and every single hand is recorded, and my results I have to update every day. It's kind of, it's not difficult, but it certainly grains on you. Like, you want to do really well. You want to do well because you want, you know, to put in a good performance, you know. I'm going to 3-bet these 10s here. You want to put in a good performance. So when you get up to a really good, like I was saying, I want to push on and stuff. When you get up to a really good point and you're like, okay, now's the time to, well, we're going to play this hand, by the way, first. So we can go for either small or like a little bit of a larger one. I think I'm going to go for 40% here. This guy, once he cold calls, is going to be pretty bad most of the time. This is a really good card for our range, but obviously a pretty terrible card for our hand. Although having said that, we might check back a bunch of ace-x. So we don't really want to be turning this hand into a bluff, to be honest. And I think if he was to bet this river, we'll just have to fold. We have plenty of hands, like we can check back some ace-x on the turn when we're concerned about jack-x. Our jack-x is all going to bet, so our best score downs here against this sizing, this is not bluffy either. Our best call downs are going to be ace-x that check back the turn, something like ace-queen. Anyway, because all the hands are recorded and I'm streaming all of them, and you know, I just want to do really well so that I, you know, make a good account of myself. That's just normal. That's just normal human behavior. And when you're getting shafted by the boards, left, right, and center, it can become really frustrating because there are a lot of people. Which this is close. We could do either or here. I think, again, I'm just going to c-bet for small. We might be able to check back some turns, but I think c-betting small wins a lot of money against these players. Yeah, it's really frustrating because it's weird. Like, not in terms of like attracting new people to the stream, you want to be, in a nutshell, doing really well so people can come in and be like, because I've got these commands that say exclamation mark challenge, exclamation mark EV. People will put that in, they can see how I'm doing, and when they see plus $6 after 52k hands, they're like, what do you mean? So you know, it's hard without the context for new people coming to the stream to know that, you know, it's been a difficult time. That's why I've got the EV command, but I think that's just an interesting thing to have anyway, to see how we're running. Some people will disagree, but I think it's fun to have. So yeah, in that sense, it's annoying because, and there are a lot of people in poker that will just look at results and don't understand, you know, how small of a sample 50k hands is and how bad you can run over 50k hands. I'm very confident, even at my low points in this last few weeks, where I've started to question my own play because it's been going so badly. We 3-bet this sometimes, half the time I think it is. We're going to call on Queen Jack 4. That's a pretty good turn. We'll be calling here unless he goes like pot, and I think when he checks, we're going to just go for a 2/3 pot. I want to get value from some like stuff like King 10, maybe like Ace King, whatever. So yeah, I'm going to lose my train of thought a bunch of times. But basically, I started to question my own play, even though that might not have been absolutely necessary, because in the sense that I'm definitely still winning on average, as you can see by the EV graph, which is the only one that really matters in terms of like performance and results. Same as like in football. How was your performance? And performance and results are different things. Obviously, the results we're a results business, but you know, the performance is what is going to get us the results in the end. If we were playing really badly but running really well, that would be a different story, and probably less likely for me to get to 1K in the end if that was the case, because you can't run good forever, and you also hopefully can't run bad forever, but we will find out. We will find out soon. So yeah, it's annoying in that sense, because new people coming in, and you know, people just that maybe don't know as much about, you know, sample size and EV and run bad, how normal it is, then they can be very critical and they can be less interested as a result. So it's part and parcel. I knew what I was getting into when I did this. Obviously, you hope that you're going to run really well and just get off to a really good start, because it works in the same way the other way around, right? So if I was to run really well, you know, people at exclamation mark challenge, it's more likely that people will go, oh, this guy's winning, you know, let's have a look. So that's another like mental step that you have to take. But just overall mentally, it's really draining running like shit every day. And especially when I was I am generally two tabling. The plan is to start three tabling when there's not someone in the booth, and when there is someone in the booth, we're going to be two tabling. But when you're two tabling and you're running like shit, and you feel like you can't win a hand, and you're just losing, you're bleeding money, it's really, really like it's tough on your mental game if you're not used to playing like a lot of poker and you don't have like an insane mental game, which I don't. Like it's okay, but like it's been so relentless that I've started to question my own decisions. And whilst I think that wasn't necessarily, or I don't think I'm necessarily making like too many like massive errors, and I'm certainly still winning on average. What it led me to do was to say to Ben, look, Ben, I need help with this. He basically straight away was like, yeah, let's do it tomorrow. And he played some 10-0, and I watched. And the way he was playing and talking about situations and the kind of things that I need to be doing differently was very eye-opening. And I went into a new session, even if I know it's one set, like it's 1,300 hands, whatever I played. I know it's one session and it could go to shit all over again, even if I play well. But I played really well, and people seemed to think I was playing really well, and I was super focused, which you need to do. Like Ben drills that a lot. Like you need to take your time on every spot, even if it looks really simple. Not miss any pre-flop opens and stuff like this. These are all things that I may have. You may think that you don't lose when you tilt, or when you feel hard done by because of tilt, but I do. And when Ben's in the booth, luckily we've had him in the booth for quite a few times recently, he will always be like, why haven't you opened that? Why have you not opened that? Why have you, you know, I can't believe you, why have you just folded that? Like, did you even roll? Like, stuff like this. And you can subconsciously, when you look at something like, you know, King 8 on the button, King 8 off on the button, which you know is a half open, and you're just getting battered all over the place, you don't want to open King 8 off. You just want to fold so you can get a juicier spot subconsciously, right? So these are all things that you have to remember as you're playing, be aware of at least. So we have to call probably once here. This guy opens to 5 big blinds all the time, so nothing to think of there. I think versus half pot, we just have to go. I mean, this could even be a fold, honestly, but with a backdoor straight draw, I think it probably has to be a call. If I would much obviously rather have a backdoor flush draw here, and I think now when he checks, it's close between. We could be bluffing off a better we could be bluffing off a worse hand here, but we also could get a better hand to fold. So I think, you know, that's, you know, something like ace jack, ace queen, obviously, maybe even something like deuces, because this guy opens to 5 big blinds with everything. That might have been a bit too optimistic. I'm not sure exactly if it's the best idea to be bluffing purple tags. Usually my standard is to give up there, but recently I've been trying to work towards attacking that weakness a little bit more. And that guy opens a lot of hands and c-bets a lot of hands. Like I said, I'm going to win anyway if he has like queen high. So I don't lose anything by betting against queen high, but I do lose something by checking and losing to, you know, ace jack, which would be not pretty disastrous. And we sized up because we can still have some pretty good hands on that run out when we defend the big blind, for sure. Especially if we went check call with a 9 on the flop versus his half pot sizing, which we would do sometimes. So I think my play is fine, but maybe a little bit optimistic against a purple tag. I think there are people that will fold the hand that he had there. Anyway, we are trying our best to think about spots a little bit more. Maybe we needed to think about that one a little bit more. Yeah, the fact that I was running so badly led me to ask Ben for this help, and it really did help. Like, it was a huge help, and I felt like I played 3 tables and I was unreal focused, and it took it out of me. It really did take it out of me. But luckily, I think we're now in a spot where we're beginning to accept how sick this game is. I think we need to call again here. I'd much rather have a king 5 of diamonds, but I still think we need to call once more. And if he checks, I'm not going to try and get him to fold, and that sizing is never a bluff from that opponent type. So not the best little session so far. But I mainly just wanted to talk about the mental side of it, because I think that's pretty much the main thing. Obviously, the bum hunters are still there. I'm still getting hunted like an animal pretty frequently. Like right now, they won't come in generally because they won't know that I'm playing because my stream's not live. So as soon as my stream's live, you end up generally getting like 5 to 10 blue tags, which are bum hunters. And they're pretty intent on doing some juicy stuff, so it becomes very interesting. We talked all about that last time though, and that's pretty much only got worse, but I've gotten more used to it, so it's not something I'm going to spend any more time on. But yeah, the main thing is how I'm dealing with the fact that we were up $164, $165, and we lost all of it. We dusted it all off. And yeah, honestly, I was a bit shaken towards the end, picking up the kings. I was a bit shaken towards the end. This small blind, by the way, he's I actually don't care saying what he has. His stats are 21-1, so that means he limps all the time, and he rarely raises, and he never 3-bets. So as soon as it follows him, I know I'm getting like literally no money there. So yeah, and obviously I know these update videos are coming out. I want to be able to show good results, but at the same time, I'm never going to not show you. Like, if I get battered, guys, whether it's because I play badly or run badly, I'll be honest about why I think it is. I think there's a mix, but for the most part, I think I've run like utter dog shit. And you guys will see the hands and hands of the week. It's really sick. Like, some of them are unbelievably sick, and not just like, some of them are just on their own unbelievably sick. Some of them are like back to back to back to back to back. I had Mark on recently, and I have never seen. I flopped the nuts every hand and lost like 5 hands. It was disgusting. I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to defend the Jack 10 off here. And with the gut shot, this is like a horrible board for us. I think we do have to defend here by calling once. But with his stack size, it's not as ideal because we get less money when we do bink. But I think calling once with the nut shot is essential. And then I think out of position here, when he 2-barrels this board, I don't think we can hang on any further, unfortunately. So yeah, the takeaways are, I actually knew that when I did this challenge, it was going to cause me real mental like problems if I, not mental, but like mental game issues if I ran really bad and I got off to a really bad start and the pool started to tilt me with its tendencies and things like that, which it still does. Like, everyone's very tight. The 40 big blind stacks always seem to have aces, which is really difficult to play against. Because you think you should be able to get in certain hands. We're going to check range here on Queen Jack 7. Our hand is never worth 3 streets, so we just cannot bet this flop. Now our hand is worth a comfortable 2 streets, and when WinKid bets, he's one of the worst players in the pool. So we're just going to raise and then stack off, and if he has a BB, then I will accept my fate. He also might be a bit dubious of my check because I don't think he knows like too much about that, but. And we could have called, but with the 2 hearts out there, I think it's just safer to raise and let him, if he has a queen, you know, we're only going to get his money by raising and then jamming, or raising and then betting very large. So I prefer playing it like that. Picking up the kings. So yeah, basically, we're going to 3-bet. And we'll go to 10.5. I usually make this like 12, but he's only made it smaller, so unfortunately we didn't get any action. So yeah, I knew this was going to be testing on my mentor, and I was hoping that I might just like, I don't know why, but at some point I was like, hopefully I'll just smooth sail this and it'll be fine. It's been anything but smooth sailing. So what it has been good for in that sense is experiencing devastating downswings in the context of the challenge, at least. Like monetarily, it's not a problem. It's just, I mean, I play 25 and L and I just like piss about and have some fun at night when I'm in my Discord and stuff with people. And I've got a really solid win. I'm winning at like 8 big blinds at 25 and L. So I think it's, I'm also sun running at 25 and L. I'd rather win at 10 and L. But what it does is it allows you to, you know, the more you experience run bad and the more experience, you know, misfortune, the more acclimatized you get to it and the easier it becomes to deal with in the future. The worst run bad you have, like, you know, the either more used to it when it happens again, or it happens again but it's not as bad, because this has been really bad. So it's possible that this is as bad as it gets for me, because I don't recall, like I said, I don't recall it being this bad before. So that would be nice. I would prefer it to not get any worse. But I now feel more ready to deal with it. So like I said, guys, we're never going to not show you these results. These are going to happen every 25k hands, these videos. And if we're getting absolutely blasted, I'll tell you I'm getting absolutely blasted. I am not the best player in the world, guys. I'm beating this 10-L pool. That much I'm sure of. But I'm not best player in the world, and I have very little time to actually learn how to improve because of how much I've committed to my stream and my YouTube. Again, just going to bet small here. We're going to win this like so infrequently when we don't bet. We also might not win it very often when we do. Once he snap calls, we might want to start like bluffing this guy. I really wish I had stats, but I think if I'm ever going to do it, I'd rather have a slightly worse hand, maybe like Queen 10 or something. But this is actually like makes a pretty good bluff once I'm in this situation. But maybe not against this guy, and I think now we can just show our hand down. But yeah, maybe we could have got him to fold that. But yeah, I think that's everything I really want to talk about. You know, it's really good that I had the session that I had where I feel like I played really well. Otherwise, I think I would have really struggled to make this video. Obviously, it would have still happened, but I would have been, if I'd made it like when I was down to my last, you know, $2 of profit, then that would have been really painful. Thankfully, we didn't only win 4 buy-ins, but we also found a new way of potentially playing the game that, or approaching these games that hopefully will be conducive to better results. We could raise here, but I really don't want to get a 3-bet, so I'm just going to call. The river's okay. We can't raise this bet. We can't fold to it, so we just call. And this guy looks pretty special, which is nice. So it's a good pot to what I think will be the end of this video. If you guys would like to see me playing like 2 tables or something, maybe not with the HUD, but I'll consider it. Let me guys, if you guys really want to see it with the HUD and stuff like that, then let me know. I'll play 2 tables like I do on stream, but I'll do them with the HUD and my caption and show you my note taking and stuff. If you guys want to see that, I'll do it. But drop a like on the video to let me know that's something you'd be interested in, or leave a comment down below. But yeah, guys, we're up nearly $50 and we are back on the regrind, and I will see you again in another 25,000 hands. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.